Okay, so we're going to revise some bank reconciliation statements. So remember, the idea of this is, at the end of the month, when we get our bank statement, we're going to check our balance on our cash book against the bank statement. This will help us check for errors and silly mistakes. Now, the balances might not be equal, and this could be for a number of reasons. It could be to do with transactions that you didn't realize had happened. So stuff like bank interest, bank charges, bank transfers that you weren't aware of, stuff like that. And it can also be due to timing differences. So, for example, if you write a check to someone, that will go on your cash book straight away. However, it won't go on your bank account until the other person cashes your check in. Then it'll leave your bank account and goes to theirs. Similarly, when you receive a check, you'll write that in your cash book, but it won't go into your bank account until you go to the bank and deposit the check. That's when it'll appear in your bank account. So I'm going to do an example, and I'll talk you through the steps again. So this is 2016's exam question. So you would have a cash book and a bank statement to look at, and you might have some additional stuff. So let's just make sure we're familiar with everything that's on the bank cash book and bank statement. So we've got stuff that's left our bank account on the credit side of the cash book, and stuff that's went into our bank on the debit side. So money out, credit, money in, debit. Now on the bank account, remember that's the opposite way around. So credit is stuff that goes into your bank, and debit stuff that goes out of your bank. And that's because the bank statement's written from the bank's point of view. So if you put money in the bank, then the bank gains money, don't they? So, right, let's have a go talking through it. So the first thing you do is you check the balance BDs at the beginning of the month and check that they match, and they do. If they don't match, then check the next balance on the bank statement after the first transaction, see if they match, because it could just be a timing issue from the previous month. Okay, then what you do is you start with bank statement, you look through all the entries, and you kind of cross off anything that matches on the cash book. So the check number, 220 on the debit, so I look on the credit, and I could see a 202, and both the check numbers are 123. So I'm not going to cross them off. I'm just going to put a star because there's something suspicious going on there. The numbers are wrong, so there's an error somewhere. Then rent received for 6,500. That's going to debit, and it's not there. Check 126,655. I can see it, so I can cross that off, or tick it off rather, or highlight it. That's what I'm doing. Gas board, well, that's a direct debit, so it's unlikely to be my cash book already. Yep, and it's not there, look. Check returned, again, that's unlikely to be in the cash book because I won't know that the check's been returned until I look at my bank statement. And check number 660, 124, I can see that there, so I can tick that off. Okay, so that's the next step done. Now, I'm just going to read the note at the bottom. So it says, the first one, it's the name I can't say. Zishan has contacted the bank regarding check number 123 for £202, and the bank manager has acknowledged the bank's mistake and apologised. So the bank's made a mistake. That shouldn't be 202. That shouldn't be 220. It should be 202. Now, if it was our mistake in the cash book, then that's an easy fix. We fix that. If it's an error on the bank statement, then we have to contact the bank for them to correct, and we don't correct it ourselves. Instead, we write a note on the bank reconciliation statement. And I've chosen this exam question so I can show you how to do that. And the second note, on the 30th of April, Zishan found a check in the till received in the previous week from Douglas Limited for £450. That's been completely omitted from the books. So we've received £450, so we should have a £450 on the debit side, and it's not been banked either, so that will be another thing that's missing. So once we went through the bank statement, the next thing we do is anything that isn't in that cash book from the bank statement, we put it in, so we update it. So we use the balance BD at the end of the month. So this one here, the 1st of May. So we start with that, and then put in the new stuff. I don't copy all this out again. I just put my new entries in. Now, like I said about that error, if that error should have been 220, then I can easily just put another £18 on the side and the error will be fixed. But since it's a banking error, I can't fix it in the cash book. So let's first of all steal this Douglas thing. So check received. So I've received money from Douglas Limited for 450. Okay. That error I can't do anything with, but I'm going to highlight it and highlight that and highlight that so that I know I need to do something with that. Then rent received, so that's going to be on the debit side. Rent received, and that was 6,500. Then I can cross that off because that's done now. Gas board, so that should be on the credit side. So gas board, which is 2,123. So I can now tick that off. Okay. And that's it updated. So the next thing to do is to balance this new one here. So I would add it up. Oh, sorry, that 110 should be there as well, that check return. I don't know why I highlighted that before, I shouldn't have. Check returned 110. That makes a bit more sense now. So now I total this up and get 7,060. So this side should be 7,060. Take those away, so I'm going to need a calculator for that. 7,060. 7,060, take away 32, take away 2. So 4,905. And that's my balance CD, which then becomes my balance BD of 4,905. Okay, then once we've got that, my balance is still on to match because I've got 4,905 there and £1,042 there. So the next thing I do is I identify from the cash book what hasn't been put in the bank statement. So I've got, I'll use a different colour highlighter here. I've got Wendy's wardrobes. I've got Douglas Limited. The rent is in there now. The gas board's in, so it's just over here as well. Dossiers, just as. So I've got those three things that I can reconcile to hopefully get the two numbers to agree along with that error. So I'm going to highlight this in green as well. So the bank reconciliation statement, I will put the title, so Sishan, then bank reconciliation statement at 30th of April 2016. So it's pretty much just copying that sentence there. So this word's not going to let me type nicely on those lines, so I'm just going to draw a quick text box. And so I've got my title in my two columns, and we start with balance. So the cash book says I should have £4,905. Now, always double check this because it's on the debit side, so that means it's a positive number. If it was on the credit side, it will mean that will be overdrawn, so I need brackets around there and treat it as a negative number. I think this is the only exam question where it is a positive, so be very careful. I like to try and trick you. Then we add any unpresented checks. So they're checks that the business has written out, give to suppliers, but they haven't cashed them in yet. So unpresented checks, that will be on the credit side because I've written out the check already. So there's only one, Stacia's, Dusters, check 125. There's only one, so I can put in this column straight away. 2,105. Then we total that up and get 7,010, I think it is. That's right. So there we go. I've totaled it. I can find that. Okay. then we take away, so we less amounts not yet credited or outstanding lodgements. But the new phrase I like is amounts not yet credited. So that's stuff that we received, checks we received notes from customers that we just haven't cashed in yet. So we've got Wendy's wardrobes for 5,500, and we have it was Douglas Limited for 450. So then we total that up and get 5,950, which underline that so you can see how it's set out. Then I subtract that from 7,010 and we get 1,060. Okay, so now we've got that. It doesn't match the balance yet. It should be 1,042 in the bank statement, but that's because we still need to fix the banking error. So we say banking error, which was number 123, and the bank is put in as 210, 220, sorry. So that means in our cash book, we've only put it as 202. So to get to the 220, we need to take away the 18 as well. So we have to lose another £18 essentially. That's what the bank statement's done to us. It's accidentally taken off £18 too much. So to take away £18. And if you're not quite sure about why we take 18, just look at that number and you can see we need to take away the 18. So the last bit balance has balance at bank statement is 1,000. And there we go. So that means everything's fine now. I can then put that on my statement of financial position with confidence. Okay, so can you have a go at doing them? The main things to remember are errors that we've made, we fix in the cash book, and errors that the bank's made, we have to put it as a separate thing on a reconciliation statement for the bank to fix. And second thing, most of the time, balance BD will be on the credit side, so you need to put brackets around there and treat it as a negative number. Yeah, and remember to use your calculator when you do that. Okay, so good luck.